What's going on, YouTube? Back for another episode here, and today I'm going to show you guys a leg workout I hit at Gold's Gym, Burnaby, British Columbia, and I'm going to talk about my experience at the Vancouver Pro Show, which I volunteered at actually last weekend. So, to start my workout here, we're going to start it off. I just did leg extensions. I worked up to about 160 pounds here, and that felt great. Got the knees, got the quads warmed up. Then I moved on to heavy squats. I worked up to 315 for 6 reps. So, as I was saying, the Van Pro Show I volunteered for last weekend, and I would really recommend anybody do that. If you want to go see a bodybuilding show, and especially a pro show, a high caliber show that's expensive, over $100 a ticket, a great thing to do is volunteer, because what I did is I was security at the door, and really 90% of the time I sat in the back and I watched. I mean, it's not the best view because you're in the back row, but for a free ticket, it was excellent. So it's just an idea for people. Nobody really thinks about things. Some people don't think about things like this, or not many people think about things like this, but I always look for opportunities like this, because anytime I can get a free ticket to something and meet people and converse and get myself out there, it's always better. So right after the squats, I moved on, did some hamstring work, and I did stiff leg deadlifts in the hack squat machine here. And this is excellent because it kind of takes your grip out of it. You can really focus on your hamstrings, and if you haven't done this yet, I would really highly recommend doing it. So, and then as you guys will see right after this, I moved on to front squats on this hack squat machine. So, a couple highlights of the weekend I would say is in the amateur bodybuilding show, which I never went to the first day. There was the Friday and the Saturday. I never went to the amateur show, but I heard it was insane. I heard it went on till 2 in the morning, and there was 500 competitors, this, that, and I'm very glad to see that the sport is growing in such a way. But so it'd be hard to sit through a show like that. Hard for the judges, hard for fans. So that's tough, and something has to be done. I don't know if it has to be split up into separate days, but something has to be done because the sport is growing at a rapid pace, in my opinion. And all these classes that are getting brought up are just making shows way too long, especially on the amateur side. So there was that. Then I moved on to these lying hamstring curls. So, like I was saying, a couple highlights of the weekend was there was actually in the women's bodybuilding division of the amateur stage, a transgender won, and I heard lots of debate about it. There was lots of people talking about it the second day, whereas she was a transgender, she was a woman turned into a guy, and she won the women's bodybuilding show. And personally, I don't see a big problem with this. I would like to hear other people's opinion, but there's so many of them on stage that are taking hormones and PDs, and the fact that she lives her life like a guy, I don't think that's a big deal. She's a woman, and she's on the women's stage. If it was a guy, if it was a man turned into a woman that was on the stage, I think that would be a problem. Like the fact that it was a woman and she was on the women's stage, I don't think it's a big deal. People always complain, find a way to complain about everything. So that's that. And then I watched the men's open bodybuilding show, and I watched all the categories actually in the pro show, but men's open is what I really pay attention to because that's what I like the most and that's what I find the most entertaining. And a standout for me was number 4, who finished number 4 in the overall, was Ian Valliere. And he's from Canada, and for all of you that know Chris Bumstead is so popular right now, his sister is going out with him. So, sorry, as I was talking here, I moved on to standing calf raises. So he was insane. He's just, his shoulders, like the front delts, his most muscular was so insane. Go check out pictures of him. Go check out pictures of the Grand Pro Show, and for me, that was kind of the highlights of the show, if you weren't there. But I just kind of wanted to give my experience of the whole thing and go through it while I did this leg work, because I never really showed you guys actual live footage of Gold's Burnaby. I know I did a video on it quite a while ago. So it was a great experience. Anytime you get to volunteer or put yourself out there, it's so cool to meet people around the world, and that's what I did while I was there. So I finished off with these seated calf raises to burn the calves out, and I really hope you guys enjoyed the video. And if you did, please like and subscribe. Catch you next time.